Governments around the world are preparing for a weather phenomenon which could drive food prices to critical levels. An El Nino, Spanish for the boy, is a pattern of unusually warm temperatures in the Pacific that occurs every few years. Often an El Nino will shift Pacific winds eastward, bringing rain with it. That means abnormally dry weather for the Western Pacific countries and flooding in South America. Now, weather forecasts say an El Nino is set to take hold for the rest of this year and possibly longer. The last El Nino was 5 years ago, and that brought record droughts to Southeast Asia. And India is one of the worst hit countries by the last El Nino in 2009. A massive drought there slowed food production, raising prices to sky-high levels. Now India is preparing for another round of bone-dry weather. Shweta Bajaj explains.
According to the Indian Meteorological Department, India has a 60% chance of below normal monsoon rains because of El Nino, an elevation in ocean temperatures that can cause drought. SkyMet, the largest private weather forecaster in India, says out of 10 major droughts in India, 6 were caused by El Nino. And drought can mean skyrocketing food prices.
From 1951 onwards, there have been almost about 14 years when we experienced drought in Indian region. And out of those 14, almost 10 were El Nino years. So the percentage of having drought years when the El Nino is around a country is quite high. So that's the fear is there that since it's going to be an El Nino year, so it will directly affect our the food production also.
El Nino can directly impact India's agrarian economy as it tends to lower production of summer crops such as rice and cotton. It can also trickle down in other forms, including high inflation and lower gross domestic product growth, which means that India's new government that is likely to be formed by 1st of June already has its first big challenge cut out. Because of India's surplus stocks of rice and wheat, grain prices will be less affected than other agriculture products.
It would have an impact on the prices of fruits and vegetables and other high-protein agriculture farm products. Prices have already been rising very much. So I'm not saying it's going to be good for the economy, but perhaps it won't be disastrous for the economy.
Economic forecasts can sometimes be as fickle as predicting the weather. Not all El Ninos result in droughts, for example. If this year's El Nino does, it could drive up food prices in a nation whose consumers are already struggling with an annual inflation rate of more than 8%. Shweta Bajaj, CCTV, New Delhi.